To support this commitment, NASCO, with the support from site servers, has conducted a sensitization workshop with some private sector companies in order for them to appreciate their skill and create a good, conducive working environment for them.
As NASCO, we decided to sensitize the private sector and the disability under the economic empowerment project that we are implementing together with the Disabilities and deaf women included, with support from site servers. This was necessitated by the fact that most persons with disabilities are not getting employed within the private sector. We all know that the public sector, the government, is the biggest employer of persons with disabilities, unlike in the private sector where people are only maybe mostly thinking of profits, and they look at persons with disabilities as a risk. So patakaita this workshop takanangana nekuti to raise the awareness on the potential that persons with disabilities have to contribute to the growth of their companies, and also to build their confidence so that they can be able to also employ persons with disabilities and provide for them to be effective within their positions that they will have been employed for. So my issues that need to discuss disabilities, what is disability, types of disabilities, and also focusing mainly on invisible disabilities, because most people who have invisible disabilities are greatly discriminated against because they have to prove that they have disability, and it can be a very difficult task. So what we do is we also talk about accessibility audits and reasonable accommodations for persons with disabilities that will have been employed, for them to perform just like anybody else, leveling the ground. Actually, when I'm saying reasonable accommodation, we are looking at things that necessitate their functionality, that necessitate their competence. So those are getting to our companies so that they can also be able to budget for those reasonable accommodations and also provide for persons with disabilities, and deliberately target persons with disabilities when they are advertising and when they are employment, and the recruitment policies now very inclusive of disability. That's what we have been discussing today, and we anticipate that after these trainings that we are doing, we also intend to even visit their workplaces so that we can see by ourselves with the public support, and we are ready to offer technical support as OPDs to improve their environments, their attitudes, and everything else. And you anticipating that the rate each employer with disabilities in the private sector is going to improve.
NASCO and Peace have powerful voices supporting the rights of persons with disabilities. These organizations have played an active role in bringing the nation to the stage it's at now.
A type of barrier which is attitudinal in nature. Attitudes include negative perceptions about disability, misconceptions, myths about disability, wrong beliefs about disability. Zvatinofunga kana kuti zvataifunga kana kuti zvatinotofunga izvozvo about disability zvisiri izvo. Misconceptions, myths about disability. Can I have two people to share what people think about disability but zvisiri izvo zvinozokonzeresa kuti tiite negative attitudes?
On my side, I've heard that as a parent, if you give birth to a baby with disabilities, it's a form of a punishment from God, that you have sinned or you have done something bad and God is punishing you. So in terms of albinism, because I have albinism, they say that it's a curse. Your parents are cursed. That's why they give birth to someone with albinism.
The private sectors have been slow in taking up this cause. However, employers are starting to recognize the benefits of disability inclusion in the workplace.
Someone can be born with disability, and it's very, very important to understand that someone with disability and someone without disability, they're all equal. They're supposed to be treated equally. And we've also learned issues of the way you should then be addressing issues of people with disabilities. There's a terminology, there are certain terminologies that have been used way back in terms of addressing such people. For example, patauro ma issues ekuti munotaura kuti munhu auyu ibofu, you know, such kind of terminology is supposed to be discouraged, because we are saying kuti munhu iyeye wamuri chibofu. There's a certain way that you're supposed to address that person. And it, because there are quite a number of issues that have been addressed in terms of terminology that is supposed to be used in terms of addressing those people. I also want to refer to issues of people that have got epilepsy. I've also learned that someone with epilepsy is also a disability. And for organizations, I also implore for private companies to say, for someone that is epilepsy, do not discriminate them, embrace them, and also employ them in terms of the workplace. For example, I've seen... I didn't know rather to say someone with epilepsy is a condition that is a disability, and also implore various sectors or various private organizations to employ the issues of employment for people with disabilities, because epilepsy is a condition that is not, for example, visible. It's an invisible disability, but you can actually see it as the employees now working in the organizations, right? Another issue that you've also learned to ensure that embracing people with disabilities in the workplace is very important. When you then employ these people, it's also very important to actually assist with giving them an aid to ensure that that person is someone that is responsible for that person on a day-to-day basis. For example, I want to give a reference to someone who doesn't speak or hear, but that person can actually execute my duties properly. It's very, very important for you as an organization to employ a person who's then in aid to assist that person in terms of sign language, for example. Whenever that person is talking, they're able to be responded to, and when they've got questions, they then speak with that person using sign language, and that person can then refer back to the audience in view of that. And this training program also is very, very important in terms of being aligned to it, because there are certain benefits that we then get through these organizations that are representing people with disabilities. We talk of issues of them coming through to organizations, imparting trainings to employers or any organization to say, how are you supposed to be training? How are you supposed to be handling people with disabilities in the workplace?
Sisa masikiro ake nekushayiwa ruzivo.